my friends. Happy holidays and welcome to episode 182 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pasquale.
And I am Claudio. Welcome to the show, everyone.
On this special episode, we're going to be sitting around the KISSmas tree with our fellow KISS collectors, having a cup of hot cocoa and sharing our collector stories.
So from the Right Between the Eyes podcast, we have Mr. Rob Myers. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
From the KISS Army Things podcast, welcome the one and only Xander.
Thank you, guys.
And of course, we're all happy, to have with us our recurring panel guest, Patrick Demontigny.
Hello, guys.
So a while ago, we had Joe Polo from Podcast Rock City on, and he suggested that we do something related to KISS collections. So this gave us the idea of sharing our collector stories. So on this episode, we're going to talk about our passion for collecting, and each of us will have an opportunity to visually share our collections with our viewers.
But before we start, it's been a little over a year since KISS have reached the end of the road. So, guys, what have you been doing in your respective KISS worlds since then? So, Rob, I'm going to start with you.
I've been in shelter. I've held myself from the world under my KISS blanket because the world has ended. No. I think something we said on our show at a year end as we were getting through our Rosemont episode is like, what's the next thing for you? What's the next band that you're going to pick up and go see live? So I've seen a lot of concerts and I've been collecting things from other bands and, KISS as well. So the collecting and music really hasn't stopped, but I feel like I put KISS on pause for a moment musically because we were doing so much for so long that I need to take a step back. So it was a good 3 months before I purposely played any KISS music other than hearing it at work. And I hear a ton of KISS music at work. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, kind of following some other bands and then, still picking some KISS stuff here or there.
Did you miss having, a little bit of more KISS into your life?
Yeah, I felt like there was this weird void of like, okay, this tour cycle's over and it's going to be the next time because there was all these starts and stops through COVID that I just thought, surely they're going to come back and do something. Then March went by and April and it's weird to go, well, they're just in the middle of recording an album. It's just that weird false sense of security kind of hits in where you're like, dude, it's really over.
It's over. That's right. Yeah. I think we all felt the same. Xander, what about you?
It's pretty much business as usual over here. We've just been, keeping the celebration going, reviewing different albums. This year was Animalize and Sonic Boom and Hotter Than Hell, and the first album in the beginning of the year celebrating 50 years. So we've just been kind of continuing to celebrate KISS and release episodes, and we got to see Ace live last January. That was really awesome. Of course, I love 10,000 Volts and jammed that, and then Gene, has been releasing and announcing a lot of dates for shows, and so we're going to be seeing Gene live next year. That's really exciting. So yeah, we're just kind of continuing to celebrate KISS and get all we can take as far as the members and the music.
Did anything change since the band stopped playing for you guys, for you, Daphne? So anything in your kind of inside of you thinking that this kind of void as Rob was mentioning, or not really?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, of course, one of the fun things being a younger fan in the age of social media was being able to keep up with the shows as they were happening, looking at set lists and all the changes to the stage show and where they were at geographically and on and on and on, all those things. Just keeping up with the tour and the members themselves was always really fun. So yeah, it's been weird not doing that since KISS was obviously such a continuous a touring force. So there was always something to kind of sink your teeth into. So as far as of course shows and then even like soundboards and different things like that, it's been really scarce. Of course, there's been a couple anniversary releases, but yeah, I'm interested to see what happens in 2025.
What's coming
we'll
next?
See.
Yeah. Pat, what about you?
I for some reason yeah, I realize nothing's going on, but at the same time, they haven't done a new album in so many years that they were just like on a touring cycle, nothing else. So
Mhm.
it was already the beginning of the end when they stopped creating new music, as far as I'm concerned. That's an opinion, of course. So now there's been things going on in the KISS world, whether even though there were no concerts this year, like everyone said, the Ace record, Gene doing some live dates, and you can see some projects, and obviously something's gonna come soon with the new deal with Pop House, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there's more coming, not in a touring cycle, but something. So to me, that does the job. I knew at some point they would stop doing shows for sure. So
Mhm.
we got something else going. So it's they were right when they said KISS will never stop.
Yeah,
We'll just continue in some other form.
it's true. Did you concentrate on finding other music, new bands, or
I
playing with
always
your
have.
own band?
I
Yeah.
always have. I'm a huge Judas Priest fan, so I went to see them. And 2 days before, we saw KK's Priest. KK, who of course is a former member of Priest. So we got Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. Yeah, I love a lot of other stuff. And unlike many people, I did like Ozzy's last few records. So there's plenty of stuff out there to say, well, Kiss is not doing anything anymore, but you got some great stuff coming
Yeah.
anyway. So it's all good. So yeah, it's there's always something going on, and I
Okay.
love the X record as well.
Good stuff.
Mhm.
Basque, on to you.
I'm encouraged with what Pop House is going to do in 2027. So I know right now not much is going on, but I have a feeling we need this break, especially financially, because in
Mhm.
2027 we're going to be remortgaging for sure. I know I will. I guarantee that. So that is what I'm hoping for. But I got to tell you, it's been a tough year because it's almost like a void. A part of me is gone since KISS has stopped touring. And I've always said my life has been here. And now it's like down there. It's never going to reach that level again. I mean, I felt like a rock star. And now I'm starting to get old. I'm starting to feel like a regular person, a regular human being, And I'm trying to find ways to sort of get back that rock star feeling. But right now, I realize that things are slow with the band and have to accept it for what it is. And thank God for our podcast. Thank God for Right Between the Eyes and Kiss Army Things, Podcast Rock City, all these awesome shows out there that keeps us going, And Xander, I know that every time I listen to your show, I want to buy something or I want to listen to something. I listen to something, So I need something to kick me in the butt, and right now it's podcasting. And thank God for the fan related projects that are out there, the books that are coming out,
Mhm.
And Xander and I were talking about expos and stuff, and how much we really want these
Oh
expos
man,
to
I would
come
love
back.
that.
Yeah,
Indianapolis Kiss Expo, please come back.
I'm surprised that's not happening, but with
Yeah.
everything that is happening, it's happening in Nashville and Florida.
Yeah.
It's really out of our way, So we'll see, I haven't been collecting much. I'm saving a lot of money. I've been buying records as usual, but I've been saving money, so that's at least a good thing, So get my credit card down, and then 2027 we're gonna rocket ride back up again.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Claudio, how about you?
Well, same here. So yeah, most of my time has been really dedicated and invested into our project, Pask, which is so much fun, and so it's a way of keeping the flame alive. And I don't know, and the same here. So with Xander, with Rob, with sharing some episodes with Pat and Kurt and Eric. That's basically what gave me a little bit of a breath of fresh air that I needed from KISS. I was not expecting anything coming out from the band, so I took the time to appreciate more what fans do and make, okay, for us, just to keep it going. And but man, I have to tell you, when I was watching the stuff from Kiss Cancer Goodbye, I realized how much I miss, getting together with the Kiss family and seeing some, live performances, with good musicians, listening to some rare stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I guess, Pask, you're going to agree with me. We had the luxury to go and see Ace, which was a beautiful surprise. I had the chance to go and see Gene, which was okay, but nothing wow. But I'm expecting that what he's gonna do in the US is gonna be different and much better. So yeah, but here we are, man. So it's as Xander was saying, it's a way of celebrating through us, through Kiss fans. I don't from what I've seen from Paul and Gene, a little bit of hype that it's coming in 2027, but I think the real stuff, the good stuff, is coming from the fans.
All right, guys, it's KISSmas time, so let's talk collecting. So since KISSmas is around the corner, what would you like to get in your KISSmas stocking this year? We'll start with Rob.
Oh, I don't. Well, George Navarro just posted something just a little bit ago. He got a Bradford Exchange, Eric Singer End of the Road, and I didn't realize you had to buy the others in the other completed set, and then they gave you that. So I'm like, okay, so now I got to go to eBay. So I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, I don't know what else I want. Maybe another piece for the KISS costume that I have up here, like maybe Eric's boots or something from the monster part of the monster costume that I have of his. That'd be kind of cool. But I feel like they're KISS Replicas is kind of all over the board with their KISS making. Like, hey, we have all of Gene's, but here's Ace's boots and here's Paul's belt, but here's I'd like to see him do a whole thing. So I don't know if I have anything particular at the moment. Maybe the rest of these guys over here.
Okay, yeah.
Patrick, how about you?
It's the stuff I'm looking for is they call it unicorn or whatever you want to call it. Looking for Rock and Roll Over promo poster, this Canadian Destroyer promo poster. I'm a poster person primarily. I love everything, but also there are a few displays I'm looking for. One Dynasty one. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So if that would wind up under a Christmas tree, wow. I don't know how hard to take it. So it would be that kind of stuff, really. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Xander, how about you?
I don't know how you fit this into a stocking, but I really am looking forward to getting the Rock and Roll All Night and Journal Every Day book from Rick from It's All For You Demon over on the YouTube channel. It's All For You Demon. Rick has a really cool book out that basically it's 365 pages. Each page is a new day of the year with its own theme, its own prompt, and its own entry that you get to kind of follow along with day after day for the whole year. So it's a very unique idea. You can get it on Amazon right now for less than $20. I think it's a really cool idea. And so I've got mine. I'm just waiting to open it and dig into it in 2025. So I think somebody earlier mentioned a lot of cool KISS books coming out this year, and this is just the latest one in a good line. So I'm excited for Rick's new book.
Nice. For me, it's like when I collect, it depends what I feel like collecting at the time. So I was a figures person at one point. I was anything KISS at another point. And for a few years now, I've been vinyl and nothing but vinyl. But I'm getting tired of the reissues with just a different color vinyl. Give us a soundboard. I know it's KISSmas. It's a time of miracles, a time of dreams. Imagine if they release a soundboard. I would love to see hits.
Please.
Soundboard. Yeah. Oh my God, I would die.
Same.
And, I'm not asking for much.
Right.
Right? A hit soundboard for KISSmas is all I want, and that's
it. Can be on black vinyl.
What exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Say something really quickly. The last soundboard with Mark St. John, just for the rarity of it. It's not my favorite era, but just for the rarity of what it is, that's what I'm looking for in a sound.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Same.
Exactly. And in my opinion, Hits had the best set list in
Oh,
any
yeah.
show. It's like
It was
incredible.
fantastic.
And I was
Mhm.
there in 89. So I wish.
Mm.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Claudio?
Well, I don't think it's going to fit into stocking or anything, but you know, for the longest time, and we're going to talk about this during the episode, but I wanted to get this Japanese box set of vinyls. I don't know if you remember that
Oh.
there was one black and one red.
Mhm.
And oh my God, man! Every time I saw that, it was, you know, the price was so high, and it's hard to get. But yeah, I could go that if Santa has a lot of money. But if Santa is a little bit short, I could go with. I'm like Pat. I'm a posters guy, and I would love to have, you know, the full set of the Alive 2 4 posters there. I There was a time when you could find it at a reasonable price, but now it's a little bit tough to get. But yeah, those are my two go-to items, I have to say.
All right, guys. Let's start with our kiss and tell. And we're going to start with Rob. So, Rob, give us your visual tour of your Kiss collection.
When did I first start collecting? Probably 1989 when I became a KISS fan. Hot in the Shade. I still remember it vividly. December 2nd, 1989, which also fits into the end of the KISS story. December 2nd, 2023. Saw Hot in the Shade. Promo for Hide Your Heart, went out and got the cassette tape for Hot in the Shade, and that's kind of where it started. Started buying all the magazines and, you know, little spinner rack and stuff that I got here. So that's kind of when I first started. I think that first taste of KISS, all of a sudden the wallet automatically comes out and you're like, okay, where can I start buying whatever that is? So yeah. And why the collection is important to me. I think it's an extension of who and what we are, and we all have our different eras and our favorite different members. And I think if you know me long enough, you know, like, where I lean and who I collect more than other members of the band. And that's from, you know, getting to fall in love with Eric Carr for like this long, that, you know, I knew him as the drummer of KISS. He tragically passes. So the first time I get to see KISS live, Eric Singer's in the band, and then seeing him live, I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to play pearl drums and Zildjian cymbals. And I was just hooked, because there was, as much as I loved Eric Carr and could still go back and listen to him, seeing Eric Singer live, and that's the current drummer. So anything with Eric Singer, I had to know more about him. I got his first issue, Modern Drummer. I started getting the Badlands and Black Sabbath and Alice Cooper and Gary Moore. Anything, especially before Revenge is coming out, I was like, I need to know who this new drummer is. So while I became a KISS fan, I really became a huge Eric Singer fan, because he was the newest member, and I could say, this is my KISS. And that was denoted, yes, by Hot in the Shade, but Revenge became that lineup and that era where, you know, I had blonde hair like Eric when I had hair. So I was like, oh, I can relate to this blonde haired drummer. And he influenced me. So Eric Singer is a huge part of my collection. In makeup, out of makeup, I'm one of those. I think Eric looks badass in the Catman makeup. I don't care what you say. If you didn't like it, then Peter probably should have never left. So, but I'll just I'll leave it. I'll leave that there. So that's why the collection is that important to me. And what do I enjoy most about collecting? I like the camaraderie now in the day and age of Facebook and podcasts. It's fun to have that best friend, but sometimes those collections between friends are like, yeah, they're out of it for a little bit. So when the internet came around, now you're not the only one. Like, oh, you like Eric Singer, or you like the Revenge era, or you like the Elder. Like, that's one of those things. Like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to like the Elder. I love the Elder, you know, and all that stuff. So I think it's the communal aspect of collecting, and then getting to go to like the Indianapolis KISS Expo for the first time, and there are hundreds of vendors out there selling stuff, and you can find that niche thing, and the communal aspect of it, where it wasn't just going to a concert and seeing some other dude in a KISS t-shirt like, oh, you like KISS too, or at a show. Now you're pouring over the same table of stuff and going, oh, hey, where'd you get that? And building these friendships that kind of blossomed out of it. So that's why that is for me. And how I display my collection, wherever there is usable space.
I love
So
it.
Amen.
when Pasquale sent this out, was like, take a picture of your KISS room, and I was like, dude, there's crap everywhere. I have to like, this wonderful KISS banner isn't just hung because it's hung; it's hiding a bunch of other crap that I don't want to be shown. And I'm also a drummer, so behind here is a wall of drums and sticks, and just
Oh.
above it is the KISS collection. So a lot of my stuff is horizontally. If I spun the camera around, you could see all the pictures and posters that I've got, and then just some stuff up around. But there's amplifiers and there's drum pieces around. So my wife says I'm a hoarder for a lot of different things. Like, I love KISS, but I was collecting Batman and Robin. So way
Oh.
up top are all the Batman action figures roaming around. So I go all in for stuff. So trying to find places where can I display this stuff really becomes to, I really have to want it. I'm not somebody, oh, the KISS logo's on it, I'm just buying it because it's a KISS logo.
Okay.
It's money that I really have to go, do I really want to spend something? And I'm just throwing this out there, so don't at me, of Ace, Peter, Paul, and Gene. I love that era of the band, but if it's those four or Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer, Tommy Thayer, I'm going to gravitate towards that because that's where my niche part is.
Mhm.
So if I wind up with a banner from my 2020 Dubai stuff that I got from Alive 2, great, I'll hang that up here. But if there was an Eric Singer, something in that box, that's what's important to me. So space is a big commodity. I have to have the usable space, and then I'll look at it going, if I buy this, I got to take that down and then move that around.
You get a trade.
Yeah. So my wife's like, we'll trade it like you're an art museum, you're a curator. They put some paintings up for a while,
Mhm.
and then they take them down and they put something new up. So,
Right.
so that's kind of how I do that. So the big one, I think I show this all the time. What is the Holy Grail? The Holy Grail item I would like from my collection, I want a stage played Eric Singer snare drum. I would love to have one.
Okay.
Just looking at the price points of those during the end of the roads, I got close. I have his signature snare drum that I got in 2002 when he was out of KISS with Alice Cooper, but Pearl had done one. I could show it if you wanted to see it. But on February 10th, 2007, was on my birthday. I went to the Cleveland KISS Expo where Eric was, took the drum, and I had him actually sign it. And then my wife is like, he's your biggest fan. And oh, by the way, it's his birthday. So Eric sang happy birthday to me at the Cleveland KISS Expo, and everybody sang along. So to me, I think I kind of sort of have my Holy Grail that his signature is in it and he
There you
dated
go.
it. So that my Holy Grail would be to have something like that, stage played something from Eric.
Well, that's quite fantastic, Rob. So thank you so much for sharing with us. So now let's go deeper into the KISS vault. So tell us the story behind your favorite KISS collectible. Patrick, to start with you.
Well, I can say something really quick. In 1994, I went to the KISS convention in New York in 94. Yeah. Peter Criss was a special guest. So anyways, we're setting up because I had a table with my buddy. And I see this vendor next to me pulls out a beach towel. And I go, how much are you asking for this? He goes, $50. I bought it right away. Didn't even have the time to put it on the table. I purchased it right away. That was like a true must. So that's one story that I think is funny that I got. Yeah, that's a classic one. There are a few more like that. This other time, same time that I spent in New York a few days, and we go to this store. This guy had the sleeping bag.
Oh,
And he asked, I think, $60 for it. So I took it, and so I was able to get a few hot items like that for dirt cheap.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So Xander, what about you? What about the story that you have behind your favorite KISS collectible?
Yeah, I have a random collectible. As for as many things as I have in this room, one of the things I like to come back to is this little shot glass right here from '99.
Okay.
It's hard to see with the glare, but you can probably see what I'm referring to there.
Yeah.
This was one of my dad's. Actually, I put my guitar picks in it now. You can see it's full of a bunch of Kiss guitar picks. But anyway, this was dad's in his collection. And when Jeb and I were real little, we would always look up in his display case and we would see, the evil artwork, the comic book artwork. We were never scared of Kiss, but that artwork was as close as creepy as it got. So we always loved looking at that artwork. And Jeb actually loves it so much that he got a full forearm tattoo.
Oh, really?
That
Wow.
artwork, yeah. He trusted some artist to render that onto his skin as closely as possible. It does look pretty sick, I will admit. And then I also had a poster with that same artwork on it. And it's funny that we're doing the KISSmas special because last year I gave that poster to Daphne and I's nephew because they're kind of starting to get into KISS too. So yeah, this artwork seems to be pretty it's favorable in my family. We love
You pass the torch. That's
this
good.
art. Exactly, yeah. So we're kind of just passing the torch along, and I've got some you saw the KISSmas presents I have wrapped. We have presents for the nephews and some family members. So yeah, we're just keeping the tradition going. But yeah, it all kind of started with this. This was one of the first collectibles that Jeb and I saw of our dads.
Good story. Love it. Love it. Rob, what about you?
Probably the snare drum. I think I will try and pull this thing down. So even though I talked about it, I'll show it. So I told the wife if there's a house fire, I'm going back in the building for this, or I will jump out. So here's the 2002 Eric Singer. There's my COVID mask little holder somebody made me with a cat face. But inside the shell is Eric's
nice.
autograph.
Yeah.
So like the certificate of authenticity is there, and this is drum number 222 out of 5,000. So, but that's pretty cool. And then I retrofitted it with his signature heads that he was using at the end of the road tour. So that's the big one.
Nice.
Wow. Lovely. Well, I'm going to go next. Story behind the collectible. I have to say that, well, you all know now, but I only came to Canada 20 years ago. Before that, I was living in Buenos Aires, where I was born, and it was pretty hard for us to get stuff down there. And I remember not the first, but the most actually significant item that I got shipped was KISS Story, the first book. It was quite expensive, and for customs purposes or anything, it was really, really hard to get stuff shipped to that country. But when I got it, I couldn't believe it. I remember that, I was spending days. There you go. You got it. Beautiful. Look at that. Spending days and sleepless nights, going through every single page, and I couldn't believe it. And I remember I was treating it like, I was wrapping it up with a piece of, cloth and stuff, nothing, it was like, my mom was looking at me and said, are you crazy? What are you doing with that? It's just a book. I said, no, you don't get it. It is not just a book. But yeah, that's a funny story behind that collectible. Pasq, on to you.
I come to realize, why have I stopped collecting? Is it really to save money? Actually, you know what? I lied. It's not. For me, collecting is about the experience. I find that when I buy something on eBay or whatever, it's like, yeah, I've got it, great, whatever. Put on a shelf, it collects dust. For me, collecting is about meeting KISS fans and the experience, and the merchandise is a souvenir of that particular experience. So for me, any opportunities I had of meeting the band and getting something from that was for me amazing and the best. Meeting Gene Simmons for the vault experience and getting the vault and him opening the vault and telling you what he has and what he's given you, what was incredible. When I got the Paul Stanley painting and we were told, okay, when you meet Paul, don't talk KISS. I go, I know that. I want to talk about painting. I want to talk about his artwork. And that's what we did. And it was just an incredible experience. Getting his, well, it's we call it the bass, but it's really his 6-string guitar bass that I got on KISS Cruise 4. And that was incredible because I got back on KISS Cruise after KISS Cruise 1, 4 years later, being back on the ship and then doing a meet and greet with Gene. These are 3 events that I'll never forget. So I have these items in my living room, and every day it's around me. The memories are there. And that's something that I will never forget. And if my place burns down, I'm burning down with it because there's no way I can get all the stuff down in time.
There you go.
I'm sorry, man. I'm toast.
Yeah.
There you go. Patrick, now it's your turn to kiss and tell. So give us your visual tour of your KISS collection, please.
Okay, so when did I first collecting? That was in 1989. Seriously, I had the KISS dolls that I got for Christmas almost 10 years prior, because I got into KISS at 8 years old. And I had the remote control van, and I was buying every record, and every time I'd see a poster, I'd buy it. But then there was this store, which I won't name, that had many great rare albums. But they were more expensive because I didn't understand why they were more expensive. Once the owner explained to me how it worked, then I got it. And so I would buy these things, and then all of a sudden you'd get these KISS fanzine, and you had these great US vendors that sold like lunch boxes and the vintage stuff, early 90s. So that's how I started collecting seriously after that. And collecting is important to me because it's been part of my life for as far as I can remember, and pretty much the same reasons as everybody else. You get to meet great people because maybe your closest friends may not be as big KISS fans as you can be. So you have that need to share that passion with people who have it to the same degree as you. So and collecting is a good way. You go, oh, I collect posters, or I collect this, or you can make trades, and that's the whole idea, is also to have social contact with people. What do I enjoy collecting the most? Everything. From 1973 to 1984 with Vinnie Vincent, mostly. That's the first era that I love collecting. And then 1996 to 1999 about, and if they release stuff that is reminiscent of the 70s, I will get into it. And also I collect Ace and Peter solo as well. So, and I love to collect ads, posters, vintage magazines, name it. I primarily posters and displays, but everything else as well. How do I display my collection? I've been finishing my whole basement, so the KISS room is ready, but I don't have everything put up because I'm still concentrating on finishing the rest of the basement. But once it's done, I want to have the impression when someone gets into the room that you're back in the 70s. That's my goal with that's how I like to display it. And I have a small room, so I can't display everything. I have to find ways to display most of what I can, as much space as I can use, and make it work. My most prized item, I don't know if it's in terms of dollars or if in terms of collecting, but that poster right behind me, Love Gun promo poster, that's something pretty rare, and that's one of the many items that I really like. And the Holy Grail I would like, well, as I said earlier in the show, anything, like Hotter Than Hell, not Hotter Than Hell, but Destroyer display that is like the Harder Than Hell design. What else would I would like to get? Press kits from the first album to maybe Creatures of the Night, that kind of stuff. The stuff that you don't see every day.
Love it, Patrick. Thank you. Now, collecting is like a circus, right? Maybe even a psycho circus. So how on earth do you guys keep track of what you have? Xander, how do you do it?
I don't. I don't know how you. I don't know how you can. I mean, at a certain point, it just becomes, too much. I used to try and keep a mental catalog of everything, but I mean, yeah, I definitely don't have spreadsheets and things like that. I mean, at this point, okay, I will say this. I will say that doing the Facebook page Kiss Army things for so long, every Monday I do something called Kiss Merch of the Week, where I just highlight something from my collection and just make a post about it and share a cool picture. Um, and doing that for so many years, I think, has just been a really fun way to. Every time I do it, I always like look up information about the item. I'll get the item and look for, the date or any other interesting things about the item and just make a post about it. And so, having done that for so many years, I feel like I've just, learned a lot about the items in my collection that I wouldn't normally, you know. So I just kind of keep track of it that way. But other than that, I mean, displaying it and using it, interacting with it. So yeah, just any way I can, really. But it's hard to just keep track of everything, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Rob, how about you?
Other than using Discogs for vinyl, I'm meticulous about that, scanning the UPC and then looking at the pressing number and where that is, so I can open up my app and instantly see if I have a first pressing, second pressing, and all that different type of stuff. Much like Xander, unless the dust ring is gone, like, that picture must have fallen off the wall. Like, I was meticulous about catalog when I doing all my music stuff is all cataloged. So as long as it's got a scannable UPC on it, I can do all that. And I can pull up at any point and do, control F and find, like, do I have Eric on the Alice Cooper live in Tokyo? Like, oh yes, I do, that type of stuff. But as far as, pictures, I started to have like one area, like in the house. This is where I'm keeping the posters. This is where the action figures are going. So at least I know it's not like, okay, it's in a box. I think I took it downstairs. I at least know centrally where the totes are. Now, is it in the third tote or is it in the fourth tote? I've often thought about, going through and getting all the descriptions. Have I done it yet? No. But if it's on vinyl, if it's on CD or cassette, that is all cataloged, that I know what albums I have, because I think we've done it in the past going, do I have that vinyl? Oh, no, I don't. And you get it home and you bring it, you catalog it, and you're like, yep, I just rebought the same thing. So once that happened once or twice, I found Discogs, and that's a lifesaver. If you're not using it, I highly recommend it.
Pat, how about you?
Pretty much it's here, but it doesn't mean it's perfect. Here's a quick funny story. A good collector had some posters for sale in one of the KISS Facebook pages. He had the Paris 1996 promo poster, concert poster, and I go, oh, I need this. So we talk all the time, me and this person. I send him a message. He goes, you're too late. Somebody just bought it. And I was really mad. A few weeks later, I decide to do a bit of a cleaning up my poster. And I unroll it and I go, I had it already. So
I thought you were going to say you were that person that bought it and you just forgot.
Oh, that would have been the worst. I was like, okay, bravo. I mean, I was mad for one afternoon for absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
What I do now is I take photos. So this way, I because like when you have too much, you can't remember everything mentally.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But that was a funny story. It's like, okay, nice job.
Nice.
So, yeah, I try to take photos now, and I put it in a file that says, okay, I have that.
Yeah.
So I call it got it. So it means I have it. So
Right. Hey, listen, guys, I am proud to say I don't have any duplicates of any KISS item. Now, how do I know that? I've got literally thousands of KISS items, thousands. It took me over a year to take pictures of every single thing I have. Every single thing. One item at a time. Like, for example, the box set. I took it apart. I took pictures of everything in that box set. It took forever.
Oh my gosh.
Over a year. And I have it on a hard drive. So I have everything categorized. All my 70s, books, magazines, everything is there. So whenever I'm about to buy something, I go into my visual catalog, see if I have it. If I don't have it, I buy it. If I have it, oh great, don't have to get it. But it was well worth it. I'm not even doing it for insurance purposes. This stuff burns down. I mean, A, I'm going down with it, and B, insurance is replaceable value anyway. There's no way I could replace this stuff, so forget it.
Right.
You know? But I you know, I have so much stuff. I got stuff in bins that although I categorized everything, I have pictures of everything. I got stuff in bins and boxes and bags. If you tell me where is this, I couldn't find it. It's
Okay.
you have to be Indiana Jones to find this stuff. It's buried in there somewhere. You know,
So how can I top this after what Pasca just said? You know, no, in my case, I don't. Actually, I don't keep track of stuff, not because I have too many things, because it's not the case. But I once thought of cataloging everything. That's still in the to-do list. Yeah, like Rob, what I do have here in the basement is I try to consolidate everything in the basement, because, you know, if not, I could be divorced now. So my wife, she said, you know, get your room there, your cave. You put everything there, and I don't want to see any KISS stuff around.
And
the
it
house.
doesn't come out that door.
It doesn't come out that door, exactly. But that's a good thing, because when I get here, it's like my sanctuary. You know, it's my place. But what I do have is, in a specific area of the basement, I have all my books. Then I have all my magazines, my tour books, you know, on the wall, vinyl, CDs, action figures in the same place. But I think I can keep track of everything that I have, because I don't have too much. You know, I don't have too many things. But it's a nice way of at least to have you know, a room dedicated for that, just to display it and see it. You know, because to me, being here, it's like I go back in time, and I'm again, you know, 10 years old, 15 years old, and I fly, you know, when looking at posters or pictures or whatever, you know. That's the beauty of it.
all right, kiss and tell time again. Xander, it's your turn. Guide us through your visual tour of your KISS collection.
For sure. It would be my pleasure. So I first started collecting KISS when I was about 12 years old, which for me would have been 2007. So I know it seems kind of late for some people, but it's kind of coming up on 20 years, which is wild to think about. But when I was 12 years old, I didn't really think I was collecting. I just wanted to wear KISS shirts, and I wanted to listen to KISS CDs. So for me, if I could get, you know, another KISS CD, another album, or another KISS shirt for every day of the week, every day of the month, you know, that's what I wanted. I just wanted to wear my favorite band and listen to my favorite band. But as we all know, naturally, things start to progress, things start to accelerate. Next thing I knew, it was posters and you know, DVDs. Kissology was a big one. I remember Kissology coming out. But yeah, it was DVDs and posters, and then we're doing the KISSmas special, so KISSmas was always a big thing. Dad and I would always, and Jeb would always get the KISS catalog from Peter Arquette, KISS Museum, every Christmas, and we would look through that and, you know, make our list, check it twice, and hopefully we haven't been naughty but nice, so that KISS Santa would bring some KISS gifts, and so we would open up a big box of KISS stuff on the 24th, and it was always a bunch of random stuff. But the expos were also something very fun too, where we would get, you know, just to kind of search around and look. So I first started collecting, yeah, when I was in 7th grade, but it's kind of just progressed throughout the years. And KISS collecting is important to me just because I feel like it's, you know, it's an expression of my KISS fandom and who I am as a KISS fan. I think every one of our KISS collections is an extension of who we are as a KISS fan, and you can get a feel for, you know, what era we're from, or what albums we like the most, or, you know, different things like that. So that's why it's important to me. As far as what I collect the most, it's difficult to say. I mean, I have a lot of posters, I have a lot of records and things, but one of the things this year in 2024 I've been kind of collecting a lot of is KISS Indiana related items. Indiana KISS items related to my home state, so KISS ticket stubs, some Ace guitar picks, you know, posters, different things like that. That's been my my 2024 collecting habit. and I display my collection as best as I can. I don't really have, glass displays or anything like that, but the displaying aspect of KISS collecting is always evolving. And I think in 2025, I'm going to try to, revamp some things, change some things around, move some items around, and display things differently since we all have so much time on our hands post end of the road tour. As far as the most prized item in my collection, it's difficult to say, but Rob and I are huge Eric Singer fans, and we're always having this never-ending friendly competition on who has the coolest Eric Singer items. And so I do have to show my stage-played Eric Singer drumhead from the August 9th, 2010 show in Indianapolis in the State Fair show, Hottest Show on Earth. We were there, and I bought this off of KISS Army Warehouse several years back. So I've always loved this. It was one of the last shows we got to see with Dad, and Jeb and I have seen every show together. And so when I look at this, I can think about that great night. And of course, they were selling the flash drives on that show too. So yeah, definitely a high item on my list as far as prized possessions go. But I'll be honest, when it comes to the collection, the prized Holy Grail I want now, I don't really know. I was able to, in 2024, cross off some pretty awesome items from my list of Holy Grails, including Kiss Alive 4 on vinyl. That was a big one. And then the 2011 tabletop pinball machine. That was something I always wanted from the Kiss Museum catalog. So, yeah, I don't know. I think 2025, we'll have to see what that next item is. But I was able to cross some stuff off in 2024. But yeah, Kiss collecting it's always fun. It's ever evolving. And I'm interested to see where it goes in 2025.
That is so awesome. Thank you, Xander. This is great. So time to face the music now. Are there any KISS collectibles that you regret not buying when you had the chance? Patrick.
Oh, so many. So many.
How long is your show?
No, but the few that come to mind, there was this Australian beach towel that a guy had at my KISS Expo that I had put on years ago. And I was like, well, I'll see how the show goes, because before you buy collectibles, you have to make sure that the show is paid for. So unfortunately, I didn't have the occasion to have that. I also had an occasion to get the box set you were talking about, the Japanese box set closer you were talking earlier.
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I had that chance for $500 back,
Mhm.
which is a lot of money, but compared to now, it was
yeah.
pretty cheap. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. So those are the two that come to mind. So, but I'm sure if as the show will go along, I'll remember more.
You're gonna remember
That
more.
stand out. Yeah.
More regrets.
Yeah.
So, Rob, what about you?
I kick myself. I really kick myself. So a Holy Grail I forgot about was the Revenge Tour book. I want that in the baddest way possible. Back in 2001, maybe. Yeah, probably right around there. Looking on eBay when I kind of discovered eBay, and I remember seeing it for $55. I'm like, man.
Oh.
Wow.
I don't know if I want to spend $55 on a tour book. And then it started creeping around $60. And I remember I started bidding on it on one that was right around 70. This was a couple years later. So I thought, okay, $70. And I don't know what happened, but I completely forgot that the auction was going on. And just like most normal auctions, I got sniped at like $71.25 or something crazy. Now to try and find that book is $300, $400, $500. I just saw somebody on Facebook that said they went to a flea market and they bought it for $20 at a flea market. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that Santa Claus, if you're listening, that's what I want on my tree. So that's one of those ones where I want to kick myself. And when I saw it at 35 and 50 and all that, I should have just like buy now, pay it. But I didn't know how eBay really worked. Like, is this a scam? And now every now and then I'll see it, just type in Revenge Tour book, and I'm like $385. And this one's all chewed up. I'm like, of course it is. So yeah, that's the one that got away. If I could have a time machine, I want to go back and say, buy it. It's only $50.
That's right.
Yeah.
Xander, what about you?
So I had another one in mind because I was trying to think like, okay, what's an item I regret buying, and I couldn't think of one, so I was going to settle on one, thinking, okay, wish I had a cool story. I think I can think of one now. So, one of the items that I regret not buying, and this is actually pretty recent because, as we all know, after the end of the road tour ended, we were all feeling a lot of emotions and all this and that, and I was obviously missing the tour. We had such a great time with everybody in Rosemont. We saw the last show in Indianapolis, and there was all this fun and excitement. And to know that it was over, it just kind of, how you just wish there was more. So I kind of started collecting a lot more, as anybody who watches my show knows. I ramped up the collecting in 2024. And one of the things I really wanted to buy was when I think it was Keith LaRoe uploaded all of the used drum heads from Eric Singer on the last handful of shows on the end of the road tour. And I was like, if I scroll and if I see Rosemont, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I saw Rosemont because that was again the last show I saw, the last show Rob saw, and we were all there. And so I said, I want that drum head to be in the Rosemont family. And it was like $600 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, there's no way I can drop $600 on a drum head. That's just not feasible. And of course now, after the fact, 1 year later, the house is still here. Everything's fine. I wish I had gone ahead and just, bought the drum head to have it forever. But that was just at the time, it was just a little too steep of a price for a drum head. But I also, yeah, of course, I wanted to hold it over Rob's head. Hey, look what I got. I got the Rosemont drum head from Eric Singer, and you don't. No.
Just for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, yeah, no, $600 to gloat, not worth it, not worth it. But
I don't know.
Well, in my history here, regretting not buying stuff, many times, as Pat was saying. But I do remember that when I was a kid, the only way to get stuff, shipped to, Buenos Aires was through eBay. And at that time, it was kind of, I guess it was a well-oiled machine here in North America, but in South America, it wasn't, the case. So you never knew if you were going to get the stuff, who was going to ship it or whatever. But I do remember seeing some of the old coin stuff, in the 70s, like the radio, the lunchbox, the posters and all of that. And I remember the price was not that high as it is today. And I do regret not buying that, even taking the chance. Maybe the stuff was never going to get there. But I know some friends that are still there that they bought it. They took the chance and they got it. So that's, to me, that's a beauty. I could have loved to get that stuff. Now it's impossible. Pasq, what about you?
All right, Kiss Armor, you're about to see a grown man cry.
uh-oh.
And in 2011, I had booked for Kiss Cruise 1, and that was expensive. And then my holy grail item went up for sale, the Kiss pinball machine, at $1,500.
Oh,
that's it. Canadian, not US, Canadian.
Ooh.
And I thought, I can't afford this right now. I'm spending all this money on the Kiss Cruise. So I didn't buy it. Then I thought, what am I, crazy? $1,500? I'll figure something out. I called the guy back, and it was sold.
Oh,
It was sold.
Yeah.
I was so upset. Now, what made it worse, that a little bit after that, I had organized a KISS event here in Montreal, and I saw the SOB who bought the pinball machine. He told me all about, I'm not even joking. He told me all about this purchase he made with the pinball machine, that some guy wanted it. He ended up getting it to go, I'm that guy. Get out of my party. Like,
He was at your party.
he was at my party.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's a good
Price
story.
of admission is one pinball.
Yes.
There
That's
you
right,
go.
exactly.
Oh,
Oh my
One
God.
pinball machine.
Yes.
yeah.
What
Oh,
a story, man.
That sucks.
Wow.
Twice. That sucks.
Yes.
So we have tried to get several guests for this episode to showcase their collection. One such person was Roger Bernard, of the legendary KISS Black Books. So due to his work schedule, he couldn't make it to the show, but he prepared a video for us. So here is Roger Bernard and his visual tour of his KISS collection.
Hello, Kiss Army Nation podcast. A few days ago, Pasquale reached to me and asking me to be part of the next episode. When he told me the topic of the episode that would be collecting KISS, I got very excited, but our schedule did not match for the recording. So he still offered me to do a small recording on my part here and send him a few pictures so he can do a montage showing my collection. So I was very excited about that, and so here it is. So I'll try to answer some of the questions you guys went during the episode the same way you guys did. So first question was, when did I start collecting? I started in the early 70s, but it was not KISS I was collecting. It was everything about monsters and sci-fi movies and monster movies, just like Gene Simmons did when he was young. Then later on, in 1977, I became a KISS fan, and went to see KISS at the Montreal Forum on July 12, 1977, and brought a very cheap camera with me. I took some pictures. Even though those pictures are not like high res, but they're still pretty good, it helps me reliving those wonderful moments. So that's kind of helps answering the second questions you guys went through, is why is it so important collecting? That is for that. So everything that I have in my room here that I look at, I kind of go back in time. I know when I purchased it, and the moment when, the happy thoughts that went all around it. And so this is why it's so important collecting. What do I enjoy collecting the most? Well, the answer to that would be items that put a smile on my face. Every time when I look around, there's not one item in this room that I would say, well, this item, I don't think it really belongs here. It doesn't do anything to me. No. Everything that is showing, I really enjoyed every single pieces that are in here. How do I display it? Now it depends on the room that you have. How many walls do you have? Like for me, I don't have enough walls to put all the paintings and posters that I have. So the items that are not going to be on display, so I have to preserve them. Recently, I bought a portfolio for posters, and that was a wonderful purchase actually, because all my posters are all very well preserved right now. And you can do the same thing with smaller documents. They have smaller sizes for them. And also you probably know about my legendary KISS Black Books. Those are the big books that I've been working on since 1977 on. And at one point I said, okay, I need to find a way to preserve them, and I got those special cases made for them. And same thing with paintings. Frames are not cheap, but if you want to go and to put some good quality, and same thing for posters, paintings and posters deserve to have proper mounting for everything. Next, I can talk about the most prized items that I have in my collection. I will start with a drumstick. It's a Peter Criss 1975, borderline 1976 drumsticks. When I got it, also another way to preserve it, I went to get like the anvil kind of case to display it, to have it protected. Second item I would mention on that would be Hotter Than Hell sticker promo. This promo sticker is kind of funny because back in 1989, I went to a convention in Boston, and there was this roadie selling backstage passes, and I bought everything he had on KISS, and it was about 8 or 9 of them that I bought, and that sticker was in there. And so all those years I thought that was a backstage pass. It was not, because Perstred, who did the books with Alain in Japan on KISS, they do amazing work, and they talked about that. And he's the one actually who saw the video that I did on my book many years ago, and he noticed that little sticker, and he says, he contacted me. He said, could you send me a picture of the back of it? But he said, do not post it, because you know what would happen. People would do bootleg and they do copy of it. So I sent it to him, and he said, yeah, you have the real deal. But he's aware of only 2 so far that he knows that exist, his and mine. But I'm sure there's got to be other people that never put it online. But anyway, it's pretty rare, so that's why it's one of my favorite as well. Other items would be right here. This is the double platinum gold album that was issued to Linda West. She was the assistant to Bill O'Coin, and so this is the real deal from 1978. Another one would be the ad for the show that KISS did in June 1st, 1973. And that was Bleecker Street on the top floor. And anyway, you can go read on a KISS Alive Forever. They have a kind of a cool story on that. Then the handbill for the Diplomat Hotel. Got that back in 1989. And also when I told you that I took some cheap pictures on the show of 1977, towards the end of the show when the drum at the end of Black Diamond goes up in the air, I took a picture of that. So this is another one that is kind of very dear to me. And then I'm going to add another one, a 6th one actually, the Planet Story pulp magazine. So this is not related to KISS, but I told you I like sci-fi and horror. So as far as a cover for a book, this is one of the best cover that I've seen from the long series of Planet Stories book. This is from 1942. So I was able to find it in a pretty good shape on eBay a long time ago. That book really come for sale. So, oh yes, what's the Holy Grail that I would like to have? Well, you know that show I was talking to you, that ad that I have for the June 1st, 1973, the show that KISS did. It was the Brat Loft in New York that they went to do that concert. And Paul was wearing a black t-shirt with the glitter KISS logo on it. That's the ultimate Holy Grail for me, but that's pretty much out of reach. Paul still has it anyway. So there it is. So you have a little bit of my story of collecting KISS. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, Roger, for that video. That was insane. You can check Roger out on episode 83 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. Now, speaking of insane, how do you guys balance the desire to collect with the need to be financially responsible? Claudio, I forget it.
Drum roll.
Claudio, yeah, really.
You're speaking Canadian. I don't understand.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Well, it's not easy, I guess, but I have to admit that over the last couple of years, I really behaved. I went to recovery on Recop or whatever, but now I'm a bit better. So and I have to say that since the end of the road, I have not acquired much. I don't know if it's something internal that, to me, as we were speaking at the beginning, some kind of void or something, but or maybe because there was not much stuff released over the last year, but I think it's not easy, man. It's not easy to find a good balance between that desire, which sometimes it becomes hard to control, and finance, because life is so expensive these days. So and everything is going skyrocket in terms of cost. So yeah, not easy. But I'm doing my due diligence. I'm trying to behave now. So I've been doing pretty good so far.
Nice. Xander?
I mean, yeah, I think at the end of the day, you just got to be realistic. You got to live within your means and know what you can and can't afford and what you can and can get by with. I'm sure some people probably look at me and think, oh, this guy just spends all his money he's opening stuff up on every episode. And while I do buy a lot of stuff, I know how to look around for the best prices, and I know where to go, and know to wait and not just be impulsive. Now, of course, that goes both ways, because if you wait too long, then you miss out, and then you end up talking about it in our previous segment about talking about regrets, right? So, so obviously, treat yourself when you want to treat yourself, but know when to kind of cut back. So, For me, I just I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to do any of that. I always knew that doing things like meet and greets and kiss cruises and things like that was always out of the question. Um, Stage play, guitars, smash guitars, no. Guitar Hero guitars, yes. Real pinball machines, whether it's from '79 or 2015, no way. The tabletop pinball machine from 2011, 100%. You can bet your bottom dollar. So, yeah, I just, collect for myself and just have fun with it. And I've learned, you have to learn as an adult to make your money stretch. And obviously, you have to pay your bills, but you also have to have fun. So, yeah, being a KISS collector for a long time, you have to learn how to be financially responsible. So,
Yeah.
just I would say be realistic, don't be impulsive, and live within your means. Yeah.
All right, Rob.
I think just ditto what everybody else has said. I think that comes down to want over need over space, and kind of any one of those three. Like, none of this stuff I need. Like, the house could totally burn down and I'd be completely devastated that I lost everything. But if the wife and I get out and I'm able to grab a KISS mug on my way out, then fine. But I've always been guilty. My wife likes to say, I find one thing that I love and I just obsess over it. And then I'll go do the next thing and I obsess over that. So I happen to play an instrument that is not the cheapest in the world to play and maintain, and my drum kit continues to grow. So a lot of my KISS collectibles, I go, oh, that'd be great to have, but I just broke a cymbal. That's $350 to
Yeah.
replace, or
Mhm.
I got to go through drum heads. I got to have sticks. So even that, we had a health scare with my wife earlier, and everything's fine and all that. But then it just came to this is great for in the times of when things get rough to have that thing to look at, but like it's not the important thing. Once I became an adult, I went, this is all fun. The minute that I put this stuff over family and over responsibility, then that's where I got a problem. I'm just buying for the sake of buying because I don't want to have FOMO and miss out. Like, I wanted the 35th anniversary of Hot in the Shade, but I don't need the stupid t-shirt with it. And I know they're going to come bent because they don't know how to ship. So it's okay. I can let some of that go because I have other things. And like you were saying, Claudio, I think after KISS retired from the road, that need and that impulse that I have to continue to buy, I went, I think I have, like, when is enough enough? When is the last thing you put on your shelf go, okay, that's the final piece of the collection. But I love Dream Theater, so now I'm collecting their tour books, and I'm going down that rabbit hole with that
That's
band
fine. That's totally
because
fine.
because KISS isn't active. So I'm still collecting. I'm putting it in a different spot, but it's never going to be at the level of what this is. So want and need are two different things. Like, I may want it, but do I really need it? And if I let that eBay auction close out, and I go, oh yeah, I guess I really didn't. So that's kind of how I balance that. And then having that discussion, looking at the wife and go, I'd really like to know. You know what? I don't need it.
You're right.
I made that choice, darn it, and my wife said so.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
My grandfather has a sign over his chair that says, "I'm the king of this castle, and I have the queen's permission to say so."
Bingo.
The question asks, how do you balance? I have no balance. I am totally financially irresponsible. And I have to admit that. Listen, this band has put me through so much financially that I've become a financial wizard, because through sheer necessity, I had to learn financing and banking and investments to stay alive, because I spent money so frivolously, and I've lost relationships over this. Rob, I had a wife too, and she told me no, and I did it anyway, and now we're divorced. Okay, so that's It just goes to show.
Woo!
You know, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Woo!
So get
I'm on
this.
number 2.
And ironically, after my divorce, I told myself, you know what? I'm going to do things my way, how I want, when I want, and how I want. I did that anyway. That's why I got divorced. And I haven't stopped doing that. And I'm still doing that. I bought this condo 24 years ago at $111,000. That's nothing. That's nothing. Now I owe 130 on the condo 24 years later. This should have been paid off 6 years ago. And now I put $40,000 over the price that I originally paid for the condo. I could retire in 5 years. No, I can't, because I'm still paying off this condo.
Not the end of the road for you.
It's not the end of the road for me. I can't do it. And you know what? I don't give an F.
I love it.
You know, I use my condo like a credit card. I'm not wanting anything. I want something, I go for it. You live life once, enjoy it to the fullest, and damn the consequences, you know? And you know, every relationship that I've been in, I tell my girlfriends, this is who I am. This is what's gonna happen. Accept it, or else don't even bother being with me, you know? and you know, when I met my present girlfriend, Brenda, you know, I told her that I don't have any desire to move in together. If we both have the luxury of having our own personal space, which is fantastic. We've been together for, it'll be 11 years in January. And I'm the one now talking about maybe moving out of province and maybe living together. She goes, no way. You're going to put me in financial debt if I move in with you.
Man, she's not
wrong. She's not wrong, you know, but the way I see it, you know, all this, it's going somewhere, because when I pass, I have my KISS urn that I'm going to put, you know, when I'm going to be cremated, put myself in a KISS urn. I want to throw a party when I die, and I want to sell my collection to a dealer and give every single penny of it to a children's hospital. So at the end, all this is going back to the kids. I'm a high school teacher. I've been working with kids all my life. My final act is giving back to the kids. So you know what? This is all going to mean something in the end. Patrick.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I've had to learn to be responsible, because I got to say, I'm not proud to say it, I wasn't too responsible in the past, and I'm still in the learning process. But at the same time, I'm like you, Pasq, you only live once, so it's like I want to enjoy it as well. But you know, I don't want to lose my house either. It's almost paid off, so it's like, you know, you're almost reaching that goal. So I'm thinking in less than a year, I'll be able to, you know, I'll have more money in my pocket. So it's just, part of me goes, hang in there, try to be a little more responsible, and then when the house is paid, just be careful, and it'll be all fine.
Lucky you. All right, Claudio, shout out loud, my friend. Kiss and tell. Take us through your visual tour of your collection.
There you go. Thank you, Pasq. Well, I first started collecting back in 1979, but at that time I didn't know I was starting collecting. I got obsessed. I got completely obsessed with KISS when I first saw the video from you know, I Was Made for Loving You, and without knowing, I started buying everything that I could, you know, even if it was a magazine or a poster or anything, because, you know, at that time it was, you know, my father and my mother trying to make me happy with whatever was released. And I guess that collecting is important to me. It's a way of keeping my heart, you know, close to the band and to my teenage years, I have to say, and maybe to relive some great moments in my life. As you said before, Pasq, to me, the items have a strong connection with special moments in my life. You know, I'm not just buying for the sake of buying. If it doesn't mean anything, if it reminds me of maybe a friend or a big moment in my life or a concert or something, I'll buy it. You know, I'm a big poster guy. I have tour books, you know, and books, and but to me, one of the most precious things that I have, it's the photos, you know, the pictures with the members and with my family. When I had the chance to go to the KISS cruise, and having, you know, my family with me and with KISS with makeup for the first time ever. That's you can't top that. Well, as I said before, my basement is basically my KISS shrine, and it is kind of well arranged. I like to display, you know, the items that are most visually attractive. I have cut out of old magazines from South America, Argentina in particular. One item that I have, which is really, really strong with me, it's Eric Carr's drumsticks when he played in Sao Paulo in 1983.
Nice.
So that's really, really cool. You know, I don't have items like a holy grail. To me, it could be something that comes from the early days, as Patrick was saying. To me, having like a tape from them, or maybe some you know, primitive customs or a piece of custom that they were wearing during the Harder Than Hell tour, or, you know, even the first tour, or Dress to Kill, and maybe some played instrument or a T-shirt that they once wore. To me, that could be, you know, a dream come true. And you know, I think that's pretty much it. The only thing I can say, when I was back in 83, 84, with a group of friends, we started creating a kind of a fanzine that it was called Kiss Fever. Then they continued. I was just a collaborator in the first few numbers. But one of the best things that I have that brings me back in time, it's basically a consolidation of all the fanzines that were ever released in Argentina. And we came up, I don't know if we're going to be able to show it, but we came up with 4 books like this that
so cool.
basically has
Nice.
all the fanzines inside. So it's 4 times this,
Cool.
which is when I want to go back in time and remember things, I just open one of those books and I'm there. So that's basically it.
Very cool.
That's so cool.
Very cool.
So the final question, it's a doozy. So what's the biggest mistake you've made when buying and or selling a KISS collectible? You're laughing, Pasquale, on to you.
Listen, if you want to understand why I collect, you have to go back into my childhood. So I started collecting when I was like, what, 8 years old? Imagine all that 70s stuff that was out there, the dolls, the van. I had all that stuff. And, you know, at the time I was told that KISS was the root of all my problems. And I actually believed these people, and I got rid of all my stuff. I threw it out. I just threw out all that stuff. If I were to have kept that stuff, oh my God, you know. But that became part of the problem, because I took a break from KISS for a while, but then when I got back into them, I vowed to get back everything I had as a kid. The only problem is I never stopped, and I haven't stopped since. So I don't know if you want to call it a mistake. Maybe if I didn't throw out all that stuff, I wouldn't have collected as much, or had this need to collect as much.
Maybe.
But once you get into that rabbit hole, you start collecting, you just can't stop. And I remember the first thing I had when I started to recollect was a book called Into the Fire. It was a non-makeup book.
Yeah.
First thing I got. Second thing I got was the history book in '95. And I go, oh, cool. And I started collecting again and going back into the 70s stuff, and I got so much of that stuff right now. It's unbelievable. Now, my mistake was getting rid of that stuff. I should never have done that, but it was a blessing, because that kicked me in the butt to start collecting again.
To go back.
Because of that, you know, I have the collection that I have today.
There you go. Patrick, any mistakes?
Yeah, a few. I sold my elder US promo poster. I had it twice and sold it twice because there was this other item that I wanted. But nowadays, I'm trying not to do that anymore. If there's another new item that I want, I'm going to try it other ways. So, I mean, that was a great poster, and it's pretty rare. Also, sold my Ace Zenith poster, which I love very much. Those are the two that come to mind. But you can always rebuy. But at some point, it's like I want to buy to keep, not to resell and rebuy and
Yeah.
So those are the two that come to mind.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, I'm not a reseller. I don't buy things so I can resell to get the next thing. Mine is very similar to yours, Pas. Married the first time. Um, the ex-wife had very, very strong religious beliefs, and I still do, but Kiss was the devil. That's the devil's music.
Mhm.
So I threw away my signed Alive 3 by Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer. I threw away original Alive 2. I threw away Alive. I just chucked them all into a dumpster and said, I'm doing this for you. We got divorced 6 months later.
Oh no. Oh.
So
Ugh.
there was a part to that, like when vinyl was really hard to kind of come by in the 90s, like the H&H pressings, if anybody knows what those are, where they started coming out with like the red, white, and blue Alive 3s, MTV Unplugged, first original pressing and stuff like that. So when I got married to my lovely wife, it wasn't actually up until COVID till the podcast started where I started going, hey, vinyl's kind of becoming a thing again. I want to see if I can try and get back some of those. My ex-wife convinced me to get, and I married somebody that's very financial sound, like trying to buy it in small chunks. I have been able to go back and get all of those, but in my mind, I don't have that original stuff. This is something I bought secondhand off of eBay, but the first one I got was the Blue Marble H&H pressing of Revenge. And I remember getting that vinyl and almost shedding a tear. Like I was not hyperventilating, but it was that moment of like, I have this thing back in my collection. And then the vinyl bug just bit me and I'm like, okay, now I want to try and get all of the albums on vinyl. So the biggest regret was listening to somebody else and marrying the wrong person to begin with. But having somebody say like, oh, this isn't you, that's a fad, you ought to get out of that, it's Kiss, it's silly, and kind of listening to those in the mistake of being around people that don't like Kiss. So you kind of just don't say anything. You don't stick up for your band. And I was like, you know what? Screw that. If you don't like Kiss, that's fine, but I'm not going to do something because you think it's dumb or it's silly or whatever. And like
Well
Gene
said.
used to sing, say, all the things that they said Kiss was, he's like, life isn't bad, life is good. Like Kiss is about celebrating. So celebrate your collection. Don't listen to the
Yeah.
negative Nancy's or negative whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Xander, what about you?
Well, honestly, I haven't really made too many mistakes or anything like that as far as buying goes. I don't resell yet. I do plan on at some point becoming a seller and a vendor and something like that. But as far as, buying goes, I don't really have too many regrets, but I have a time or two forgotten to like read a product description or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think I know what I'm getting, but I get something a little bit different or whatever. Again, nothing major, but just for an example, you can see behind me the AG Riffmaster here, the Guitar Hero guitar. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to have that. That is a holy grail from my childhood. That's, Kiss and Guitar Hero mix. Gotta have it, right? Add to cart. Well, it was $250, and that's kind of depending on who you are or where you're at, that can be kind of a big chunk of money. And when I got it, it didn't come with the receiver. It's a wireless controller. You have to have the wireless receiver. And we were poor when I was growing up, so we never had wireless anything. It was always controllers with wires, and so that thought never even crossed my mind. But had I read the product description, I would have known that it didn't come with a receiver. I can't actually use it. I can't actually play it. Now, I went and looked at prices for guitars that came with the receivers, and they were 500. So I didn't get ripped off or anything like that. But obviously, if I had looked a little bit harder at the description and the details, I would have known, hey, it's not going to come with a receiver. So I guess the point in all this would be to, if you're going to buy something, don't be so impulsive like I was, where it's like, oh my gosh, you have to have it. Take a minute to look it over, look at all the pictures, look at the product description, message the seller if you have questions, whatever. So yeah, again, didn't really get burned, but it does make you kind of think to really look at it before you add to cart.
Yeah. Well, mistakes in my case, yes, I sold some. I've never sold stuff, except when we moved to Canada 20 years ago because of a matter of size, and we didn't want to put a lot of stuff on the container. But I remember getting rid of some of my Argentinian edition vinyls, which, as you know, they are quite unique. They have a different cover. In the case of a Rock and Roll Over or even a Live One, it comes separate. It comes in two different, vinyls. It's part one and part two, which is kind of unique. But I was fortunate enough to refine those same albums, and now I have them. But I remember at that time it was a big mistake getting rid of those. Yeah. So Pasc, the last kiss is yours to tell. So take us through your visual tour of your collection.
Well, I became a KISS fan in 1976, way before the internet. And at that time, I never saw KISS live. I never saw KISS on television. I just saw KISS through posters and magazines and the dolls. So I wanted to basically have everything KISS so I could have that opportunity to see them visually. And then I remember, watching KISS Meets the Phantom on television and seeing them sort of live for the first time, the band moving around. But at the time, we were poor. We didn't have cable. We had this cheesy rabbit ear antenna that you constantly had to play with. And the picture was very fuzzy. So, trying to watch KISS Meets the Phantom through this fuzziness of the television was difficult. And I still didn't have that opportunity to see the band live, in a sense. It was when I saw Dynasty in 1979 that, in a sense, my collection came to life, because now I saw, the band live in front of me. We were in the same building together. And that, my collecting just exploded, because now these are real people that I saw with my own eyes. So that's why KISS collecting was so important to me as a kid. But as I grew up, I started collecting again. I realized that for me, collecting wasn't even about the band anymore. It was about the connections that I was making with other people, and that my collecting, my merchandise, the things that I owned was basically a souvenir, not of the band, but of the amazing people that I met through the band. At KISS Expos, KISS cruises, Patrick's events here in Montreal. That for me is the most important part of being a KISS fan is meeting the fans. Now, in terms of what I enjoy collecting most, I've been collecting for years now. It's always been changing, but right now, it's about the music. It's not about stuff anymore. It's just about the music, and I love collecting bootleg records, only because it's representation of KISS in concert. And one of my holy grail items was the Dynasty 1979 Montreal show that I found on vinyl. And that must have cost me, what, $250 Canadian? I don't care. And it sounded like garbage. It sounded like KISS was underwater. But it's like I was at that show. I could hear myself screaming on that vinyl. I was there. That meant so much to me. So right now, KISS not touring and being the end of the road and all that, it's about the fans. It's about the music. But my collection has grown and grown and grown, and it's gotten out of control. I have a KISS room, and Claudio, like you, originally was supposed to be just in one room.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just exploded everywhere. Right now, Claudio, you haven't been in my place in a while, but right now, you cannot walk through my KISS room anymore. It's jam-packed. And I have a catalog of everything, but everything is, I've got nine huge plastic bins of T-shirts. I got KISS school bags filled with stuff, things in boxes. It's just insane. So things spilled out into the bedroom, into the living room, into the dining room. It's everywhere now. And I live on the third floor, but my entranceway of my condo is on the second floor. So there's steps going up to a landing, high ceilings, and then more steps going up to my third floor condo. It's sort of like a loft concept. So as a project this holiday season, I'm going to create a mini KISS cave in the entrance, and it's only going to be 70s stuff. So when you walk in, man, you're back in the 1970s. I have these huge windows. A lot of sun was coming in, so I couldn't put any KISS stuff there. It would have faded everything out. I finally, after 20 years, I bought some blinds, and everything is covered up. Perfect. I'm going to get shelving. I'm going to start this Christmas putting everything together. So the first thing you're going to see when you walk into my place is a KISS shrine. You're going to come up to my condo. You're going to see more KISS. And now you can actually walk through my room, hopefully. That's hopefully that's hopefully the plan. So we'll see. Now, in terms of my most prized possessions in my collection, it has to be the vault. It has to be the Gene Simmons base, and it has to be the Paul Stanley painting, because I had such amazing interactions with Paul and Gene during that. And you combine the price of all that, it's close to $9,000. So what? It's I've got pictures of talking with Gene and Paul, and I will never forget that. And I wasn't fanboying. It's like, these are people just like you and me, and that's what Paul said to me. It's like I'm just like you. I'm nothing special. And it just made me feel so at ease, so comfortable. And I'll never forget that interaction. And then allowing other people to come with me to experience that. My girlfriend Brenda met Paul with me when I bought the painting. Craig, who's on the show as well, for his 50th birthday on KISS Cruise 4, I took him with me to the meet and greet, and he still talks about it today. I brought him to the vault experience. Never again, by the way, because Gene seems to like Craig much more than he likes me, and jokes around with Craig like, hey, wait a minute, I paid the big bucks here, Gene, pay attention to me. But for me, I love sharing my experiences with other people, and if I could share this love for the band with other people, it's definitely a win-win. Now, in terms of a holy grail item, again, I mentioned it before in this episode, it's the pinball machine, but it's gotten so expensive now that it's unaffordable. It was $1,500 in 2011, and now in 2024, minimum $7,000 to $8,000.
Holy moly!
Forget it. There's no way. I could only dream. But you know what? It doesn't matter. And I think I could finally say I have enough. I want to enjoy what I have, and I don't have this need to buy anymore. Records, yes, of course, but stuff, no. The last thing I bought in terms of stuff was the makeup kit, which was really cool.
Oh, the Lamplight?
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
That was.
But now I want to focus on displaying it, spreading it out. Jim Beis was on the show previously, and he said, Pasq, you have so much room in your condo. Your entire condo could be a KISS shrine.
Right.
You know what? Yeah. I'm working towards that, because I want to display. I want to enjoy the stuff.
We only live once, man. So that's
exactly.
it. Just do it. Just do it.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Pasq, and thank you everyone for joining us on this very special episode. So the final word goes to each of you. So what are your plans for Christmas? Xander, what do you have planned?
Well, as far as Christmas goes, I mean, Daphne and I, we go to church. We're active in our church. We just went to the children's program. Our nephew is in the children's program, so we're getting in the Christmas spirit that way. As far as KISS goes in the show, you guys we're having this KISSmas special here on Thursday. KISS Army things. Ours will be on Sunday. We're doing our KISS giveaway announcement. We have some gifts to give. And I got some gifts for Jeb. I got some gifts for Daphne. I've got some gifts for our nephews and some gifts for younger cousins. So everybody's getting KISS gifts this year for KISSmas. So we're just going to give.
Super nice. Super nice. Love it. Rob, what about you?
Much like Xander, we're involved in our church. We did our local town community has it's called Christmas in the Village. So the church here houses all of the music. Now, it's not a church function, but I played my first Christmas show, and I actually put up like a drum cam footage of me playing the little drummer boy. And then I've got a performance this coming Sunday will be the last one of the type thing. So doing that, and then as far as our show, 2024 has been really rough on Right Between the Eyes. We've been all over, and I think I said before the show started, we were going to do a KISSmas episode, and the Carusos unfortunately had to back out of it. So I still think I'm going to proceed and do a version of that, and then hopefully hit 2025 up and running and get RBTE back up on all four wheels again and driving through. So that's what our Christmas plan is. Then, the normal holidays, bouncing around from different families and just enjoying the time together, enjoy the collection, and to be able to sit with a hot cup of cocoa in this room and go, man, I love my stuff.
There you go. I love it. I love
Nice.
it. Pat, what about you?
If I don't have too many few days off during the holidays, but when I do, I'm gonna try and sort out the stuff a little bit, the KISS stuff. Otherwise, just spend the holidays with my loved ones. Very simple, but a lot of fun. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Of course, man. Simple, but lots of love, man.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
exactly.
That's what we need. Ask, what about you, my friend?
I want to take it easy over the holidays. Brenda and I are going to go to the Montreal Casino for Christmas Eve. We're going to a fancy buffet, having supper. There's a lot of opportunities for Christmas pictures. We can take pictures together. Go see a show. There's usually a show there in the evening. And I want to spend time with my girlfriend. I haven't given her much time lately, poor thing. New Year's Eve, we're going to see a cover band called Undercover. They do 70s and 80s tributes.
They're
So
awesome.
that's going to be nice. It's a beautiful venue. It's called Le Club at the 10:30, and it's going to be a special supper, the show for New Year's. It's going to be fantastic. And the rest of the time, I'm gonna make breakfast for my girlfriend at one point. Just spend time together. I want my niece over, haven't seen her in a while. We want to make breakfast for her, and on my off time, just start working on my shrine in my entranceway.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful. Nice project. I love it. Well, on this side, it's gonna be relaxed, time to rest and spend with the family. So my brother is gonna come from Colombia, where he lives. He's coming for a visit, and we're gonna celebrate Christmas together. And then the next day, pajama days and enjoying, good food, good wine, and enjoying the KISS gifts that we're gonna get. And for New Year's, no plans yet, but I'm sure that we might want to go out and maybe see some shows there. So maybe I'll meet you there, Pasc. I'll
be
let you
cool.
know. Yeah, that would be nice. But taking it easy and looking forward for next year. Yeah. So guys, thanks again for taking the time to come on our show to share your collections. On behalf of Xander, Rob, Patrick, Pasc, and myself, we want to wish you, the KISS Army, our listeners, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will see you back in mid-January with a new episode.
So guys, before we go, Jim Beis was another guest we tried to have on the show, but couldn't due to work obligations. So we're going to end this episode with photos from his incredible collection. You've got to see this to believe it. Happy holidays, everyone.